Hi, everybody, and welcome to Inspire by Onika, and I'm your host, Onika. So today I'm going to be talking about a show, and the TV series is called Power. It's the Power series, and in particular, I'm talking about Raising Canaan. Now, I just want y'all to know, I'm going to say up front, this is not a family show. It is not a family show. Don't roll up to the TV with your candy and your popcorn. Don't do that. We ain't doing that today. Okay. So, just talking about who is your favorite character on the Raising Canaan series. Okay. Who you got? All right. So, there are some really strong characters in this show, and anyone that's watched it, you already know it's a lot going on. But I just want to know who is your favorite character. So, I'm just going to run down a few of them and then you comment, let me know who you think is the best character, who makes the show, who do you think they should bring back? What do you think? So let's start with the character, like the main character that the show is based on, which is Kanan. So Kanan, I call him Know It All Kanan because he don't listen to nobody. Okay, people they try to help him out, they try to give him advice when he kind of like goes, off in the wrong direction. He don't listen to nobody, right? But all in all, I think Kanan, what he is missing is he's missing a mother's love. Okay. Because his mom, now y'all know she do some crazy things. Some crazy things. Okay. And he's just looking for love from his mother. In my opinion. And what's really sad though is that, you know, his mother, she has lied to him and the community and told him that his dad was one person when really is someone else. And then when he finds out who his real dad is on the show, they already have a volatile relationship. So, and then even on top of that, his mother, she deleted his father before he could even get a chance to form a relationship with him if that's what he wanted to do. Now remember, the man that is was his real father on the show, they had a volatile relationship, and the mom, she deleted him before Kanan could even have a chance, if that's what he wanted to do, form that relationship with his dad. Okay. So now we're gonna move over to Rock, which is Kanan's mother. So Rock, I call her Ruthless Rock. Okay, and she just don't care. Okay, she does not care. She will do anything. She has no remorse, and I think for her, I think the reason why she can't show Kanan that love and what moms typically do is because on the show her mom was kind of, she was like nasty, kind of evil. She was like kind of hardcore too. So maybe that's why. So Rock can't show Kanan that love because she never got that from her mom on the show. They didn't have a good relationship. And I'm not saying that Rock she doesn't love Kanan. She does, but she does some really foul things, you know. And the sad part about that too is that at first Kanan he was all about his mom. Like when people would say Rock did this or that, he was sticking up for her. He was riding with her 100%. But then when he learned that she was doing some crazy stuff, it was like he was blaming her for everything, even some things that she didn't have anything to do with. He was just like, nah, she did that. But people were trying to convince him otherwise, but he wasn't trying to hear it. He was like, no, she did it. At that point, once he found out what she was all about and all this kind of stuff, he was just like, no, she did it. She was guilty of everything at that point. Okay. But at first you couldn't say nothing bad about his mom because he was just like, no, she ain't do that. Why would she do that? But later on, the tables turn and, he just flipped the script. But, it's no wonder because his mom does some crazy things. I'm going to adjust my microphone for a second, y'all. I'm sorry about that. So, And so anyway, Rock, she just has no conscience. She would just do anything, and she tries to drag her brothers into her mess and her nonsense. Um, so that's Rock. So next we're gonna move over to her brother Marvin, which is Kanan's uncle. So I call him Munchin Marvin, right? So if you ever notice, whenever you see Marvin scoping somebody out, just chilling in his Acura Legend, what is he doing? What anybody tell me? What is he doing? He is always having some snacks. He munching on something. He got a lollipop. He got some candy, anything. He got some chips. He always munching on something. He just gotta have that snack. It's so funny. And now Marvin, he has his sister's back. He tries to be there for her, with the business and everything. But then at some point, he decides he wants to try to get some money on the side for himself. He wants to get some work for himself. But still in all, he's there for her. Even though she may do some crazy things, he's still there for her. He shows his loyalty to the business. He tries to be there for Rock. Um, and then also with Marvin, he has his own kind of humor. He has his own type of humor. It's a little different, but I like it. I like it. He has his own humor. And also Marvin, he is trying to establish a relationship with his daughter. So that's another part of the show. So next we're gonna move over to Lou. Okay, so Lou is Rock and Marvin's brother, Kanan's uncle, right? So Lou, he's laid back, he's quiet, he's down to earth, he's cool, but he's not without problems too. So he went through a little stage with alcohol, so he had to go to rehab and everything. He was just spiraling out of control, right? So, he had his rehab thing, and then when he got out of the rehab, it was kind of like he really didn't know what he was doing, what he wanted to do. It was just he was always like the level-headed one. Like if his sister, for example, if she wanted to run down on somebody, he'll try to talk her out of it if he doesn't think it's a good idea at the time. And she don't always listen, but he'll try to be like, no, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't do that right now. But then, like I said, he had that problem with the alcohol. He went to rehab. And then after that, he was just different. Like, he just really didn't know. And also, the main thing about Lou is that they always played him for the soft brother. He was the soft brother in the family, right? So that was the other thing, about him. And also, he was, trying to distance himself from Rock because, he knows about all the foul stuff, she did and stuff like that. So, he was trying to get out of the family business, so to speak. So that's Lou. Okay. And then we have Jukebox. So Jukebox is Marvin's daughter. And so Jukebox, she is just trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life because she is still mourning the death of her girlfriend who OD'd. Now, the way it happened, I think Juke feels some guilt for that because the OD happened where her girlfriend took something out of her backpack, but she didn't know the girl took it out of her backpack. She kind of snuck it out, and then she died. She OD'd. So Juke is dealing with. She's still mourning. You know, her girlfriend. She's just dealing with a little bit of guilt too because it was something she had which caused the demise of her girlfriend. And so Juke, she's just trying to figure things out, what she wants to do, because at one point she was in a girl group, a singing group, but that didn't work out. It was short lived. It didn't work out. So then she went to, she's going to join the army, one of the armed forces. She's thinking about doing that. She's just going back and forth with some things because she's really not sure what she wants to do. And then also, her dad Marvin. So, she's trying to form a relationship with him and everything. And I think she's trying to like gain his approval with certain things. So, she trying to just do too much sometimes, and he be looking at her like, "What you doing? Like, why you doing that?" Okay, so that's Jukebox. So then we got Famous. So Famous is Kanan's best friend, right? Now Famous, he is an aspiring rapper, and he had some bars. He was good, and he was a little silly at times. He acted a little silly on the show, um, and also he was just trying to figure things out too. And the sad part about Famous is that so he got into some trouble doing some things he shouldn't have been doing. So he went to go live with his mom. And so then he went missing shortly after that. And then come to find out that somebody deleted him. So, Kanan and Famous, their relationship started to, like, they were beefing a little bit toward the end. And when Kanan found out what happened to Famous, of course, he wanted to avenge his death. That was his best friend, regardless if they was beefing or not. You go through that in friendships. You're gonna have those times y'all gonna be tight. Then you're gonna have times where, you're gonna have some beef or some arguments, but they still loved each other. So Kanan, he was hurt. He was hurt when he found out what happened to Famous because that was his best friend. You know what I mean? So you know so that's what so Famous, he's another character on the show. And then we're going to go to Unique. So Unique, he is unpredictable. Okay, he's like the diabolical comeback man. Okay, because everybody thought that he had died and he was gone, but he actually, he lived, he survived what happened to him, and he came back out of nowhere. And he, like I said, the way he moves, you just never know what he's going to do next. And people were surprised when they saw him and they found out, like, what, we thought you were gone, what you doing, and then he had beef with Rock, of course. She had beef with a lot of people, but anyway, so they were like a love interest for a minute. And so Unique, he thought that Rock has something to do with his business and stuff that went wrong with him. So anyway, he's the diabolical comeback man. People thought he was gone, but he ain't. Okay, and then also next up is his brother Ronnie. Now y'all can't forget Ronnie. Okay, Ronnie, he was creepy. He was creepy. You never knew where he came from. Like, you could be walking, then you turn around and he's standing right there looking you in your face. You ain't see him coming. You don't know where he came from, how long he been there looking at you. Just creepy. Then now let's not forget his members only jacket, those big Coke bottle glasses. Creepy dude, I'm telling you. But he added something to the show too. Even though he was creepy, he added some value to the show as well. So that was Ronnie was excuse me, y'all, I'm just messing with my hair. Okay, so here we go. Let me do some adjustments. So so Ronnie, he was Unique's brother, and he added something to the show too. Like I said, he might have been creepy, with his old school, he was just blah, just plain, but he was just playing too many people out. He really was. So that's Ronnie. So last up, Snaps and Pop. So Snaps and Pop, they are, I would say, they low key grimy. Okay, they're a couple that's well connected in the community, and for some reason, people trusted them. Like, people were sharing information with them in confidence, but then these people realized later that they was being stabbed in the back by Snaps and Pop. So, like I said, they were well known, well connected in the community, but they did some stuff. They really did. They did some stuff. But, the way they, presented themselves to people, people trusted them, shared things with them, and later on they found out, maybe I shouldn't trust them so much. So, and also, they have a way of like they would just twist things around just to have things work in their favor, knowing good and well that, they ain't being true. They are not being true, but they like to get people to trust them and share certain things with them that, you wouldn't share with everyone else. But because they were so connected and, they had the money, so people went to them for the business. So anyway, who you got? Who is your favorite character on the show? Okay, so we got Kanan, Rock, Marvin, Lou, Jukebox, Famous, Unique, Ronnie, and Snaps and Pop. Who's your favorite? Now I'm gonna tell you, my favorite is Marvin. Okay. There's actually three characters that I like, but I'm gonna say hands down, Marvin is my favorite character on the show. Okay. Because he's not innocent, he's not free of dirt. His hands are dirty too, yes, but he has a certain sense of humor, the way he does things. And he's so funny. He be having me laughing when he just be sitting in his car scoping people out, and he be planning his next move, and he just be eating snacks. I mean, he be bugging me out with that. So anyway, y'all, I want to thank you again for stopping by. Leave a comment. Let me know who you got. Who is your favorite character in the Raising Kanan series? And remember, don't pull up to the TV with your kids. This is not a family show. Okay, it's not for the squeamish. Okay, so if you enjoyed the episode, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know who's your favorite character. Or if it's someone I haven't mentioned, let me know that too, because we want to know. The viewers want to know. All right, everybody. So stay well and be blessed.